The NFL season is all year round. You've got the in season and then you have the off season. Out of the 12 calendar months, there's only 1 month that essentially nothing really happens. And it's not really a full month. It's like from the middle of June to the middle of July that nothing is really going on. And then the cycle repeats itself. And I just got to tell y'all, man, everybody who watches this channel, who've been watching this channel for quite some time, you know the amount of passion that I have for this football team. You know that I don't hold my tongue. I don't pander. I don't cater. I don't do any of that stuff. Is it always done in, conveyed in the best way? No, it's not. It's not an excuse, but my passion is what really takes hold. I try not to be disrespectful. I try not to be any type of way. We all want the same thing and we all love the same football team, which makes us have something in common. But it's very tough for me to be pressing 45 and waiting on my team to make a Super Bowl, let alone win one. And I know it's the same way for you guys. I know I'm not alone, but I wear my passion on my sleeve. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. This YouTube channel is a great thing. It really is. You guys are fantastic. And I love having this platform, but deep down, I'm a fan. Why am I talking about all this? Because the Detroit Lions, you can see from the banner, the Detroit Lions are up against it. This year is a big year. Why did I start off telling you what you already know about myself? Last year, when you saw the many different sides of me, there was a reason for that. Because what the Detroit Lions have to do, what they did last year was phenomenal. Set the bar, a ton of first home playoff game at Ford Field, first playoff win in 30 years, right? First NFC North title, first. They were on the brink of making their first Super Bowl. And what you saw from me is a collection of years of frustration about certain spots on this football team that I think are lacking, right? Why did I bring this up? Because I'm not trying to be a downer, so don't take it this way. But the Detroit Lions, can they continue their streak of first? Can they do something? Which I believe they can, because they've done it before. And they're a team that defies expectations. They're a team that goes against the odds and comes out on top, right? But I saw this from Dave Briquette. Shout out to the Free Press, man. And the Detroit Lions are trying to do something this year that hasn't been done in 28 years. Let me show you what it is. Check this out. This is coming from the Detroit Free Press. Said Campbell was the assistant coach. Let me just start from the beginning. When Dan Campbell said after the Detroit Lions NFC Championship game loss to the San Francisco 49ers in January that it was, quote, going to be twice as hard to get back to this point next year, end quote. He was speaking from experience. Campbell was assistant head coach with the New Orleans Saints in 2018. You know what game that is. When that team lost to the LA Rams, that was the Jared Goff game, in the NFC title game on a missed, no pass interference penalty. That is the play. Jared Goff, that was Jared Goff's Super Bowl run year. Saints should have won that game. Robbie Coleman got there early, blasted the receiver, no call. Saints had to settle for a field goal. Rams go down and score, win the game. The Saints went 3-13 the next season, but lost their playoff opener to the Minnesota Vikings in overtime and haven't played for a conference title since. The Saints, man, the very next year after the no call was the Minneapolis Miracle by Stephon Diggs. I mean, this team could not catch a break. And if I'm not mistaken, Dan Campbell was part of both those teams. That is why, another reason that he is the perfect coach for us, and that I truly believe he will be the one to take us to a Super Bowl. Says the Saints aren't alone. And here's the key. This is why it might be so hard for the Detroit Lions and why Dan Campbell said what he said. No NFC runner-up, that would be us, the losers in the NFC title game, has gone on to win the Super Bowl the next season since the Green Bay Packers in 1995-96. The Packers lost to the Dallas Cowboys in the 1995 playoffs, then beat the New England Patriots pre-Tom Brady a year later in Super Bowl 31. And I believe that 1995 team of the Dallas Cowboys was the last time they won the championship. So the Detroit Lions, why did I bring up myself and my attitude? Because I knew what we had, that we had a chance. Now, am I over it? No. Is it easier? Yes. Am I going to rehash the past and last year? I'm not. I'm not going to, I'm not going to go back to the pass rush and all that stuff. It's a new year, right? That time is past. It's done and over. I can sit on it and be salty and or I can move forward. I've been just replaying this in my head. 3 years ago, we were hiring Dan Campbell. 4 years ago, we were dealing with Matt Patricia, right? Where are we at? 2014, we were just hiring Jim Caldwell, if I'm not mistaken. 15 years ago, no, where are we at? Yeah, 15 years ago, we brought in Matthew Stafford. So I've been here just like you guys. We have been through it. And all of that stuff collectively can pile up on you, right? So for me, it was so intense for me because we had this opportunity in the palm of our hand and we blew it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We blew it. And it was the most devastating sports experience I've ever experienced. Like, I'm not going to put it in my whole life. I mean, this is a game, and at the end of the day, it's not as important as some real life stuff. But it hurt. It hurt bad. I knew what we had. And if the Detroit Lions are the NFC runner-ups, meaning they're not the title, the champions, right? They historically, statistically, don't even make it. They don't win the Super Bowl. So we've been talking about this all season. What is the bar for the Detroit Lions this year? For me, it is Super Bowl. Now, this might surprise you. If the Lions make the Super Bowl and lose, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, meaning as okay as losing a Super Bowl could be. But here's the point of this video. The Lions are up against it. They're on everybody's radar. The Lions they're not coming. They're already here. They're not sneaking up on anybody. People are hunting them down. People are trying to take them out. But the Lions, just like they did last year, set so many first playoff, first this, first that. They can do that again this year. Be the first team in 30 years, NFC, to make it back to a title game and make it to a Super Bowl. But not only that, for the first time, win their first time making it. If you gave me a choice between losing the Super Bowl the first time going, if we had to lose the way that we did against San Francisco, I mean, everything about it, from being up 24-7, Jahmyr Gibbs having the worst game of his career, meaning the fumble, Josh Reynolds just dropping passes like they hot potatoes. If you told me that we would lose that game, the pain and agony that I felt walking out of that stadium, if you told me that was a sacrifice to come back and win, that the Lions go to their first Super Bowl ever, they win it, I take that. I take that pain. I take that misery, because I can only imagine what it would be if when the Lions make the Super Bowl and they lose it. For as much as the San Francisco 49er fan base was a pain in the rear, it was so great to see them lose that Super Bowl again to the same team. It was so great, so therapeutic. I don't want that to be us. If we had to lose the way we did in order to win our very first Super Bowl appearance, that is a trade I take. And I believe that this is going to make this team stronger. I truly believe that. No, it's not the same team. And that's what Dan Campbell meant. It's not the same team. It's not the same group of guys. But if that failure, Batman Begins, you guys don't know, I'm a huge Batman fan. Batman Begins, one of my favorite ones. Alfred says to Bruce, why do we fall? His dad used to tell him this, so we can learn to pick ourselves up. And falling the way that we did, completely dominating the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, punching them over and over and over. Shutting the silence of the crowd. I mean, you literally had to be there. You had to be there. Thank you for sending me. You had to be there. I have never seen a stadium as quiet as it was. It just, you talking about mind blown. These 49ers fans, their mind was blown because nobody gave us the credit that we deserve going into that game. We were the number 3 seed. We played like the number 1 seed. Nobody gave us a chance. And we came out and destroyed them. A pass here, a sack there. Maybe one different call, man, we're going to our first Super Bowl. But if we get there and we lose it, I'm devastated. Either way, right? The thing for me is, it would have been, okay, we get to check this off. There have been, I know every Lions fan knows this, so say it with me. There have been 4 teams to never make the Super Bowl. 2 of them are expansion, the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who else? Our AFC North brothers, the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions. We are the only OG franchise to never appear in a Super Bowl. What do I mean? The expansion, the Houston Texans and Jacksonville Jaguars are, what are they? 30, 35 years old? The Browns, when they when they dissolved and became the Baltimore Ravens, they ceased to exist. And when they came back to the NFL, their clock restarted, leaving the Detroit Lions as the only original team to not make a Super Bowl. There's been 12 NFL teams to never win it. The Minnesota Vikings are in that group. The Cincinnati Bengals are in that group. I don't know all of those teams. The Buffalo Bills, I believe, that's 4. But there have been 12 teams to never win it. And out of those 12, 4 have never gone. I truly believe that changes this year. And I want the Detroit Lions to continue to do what they do. And if they play like they did last year, Dan Campbell, just tweak a little bit, bro. Just tweak a little bit. Maybe not go for it all the time. I was so glad to hear Amon-Ra St. Brown say during his interview on the Pivot podcast that, man, I would have just kicked it. We all was saying that. Yes, I would have just kicked it, bro. Yeah, that's our identity. That's how we got there. But come on, man. We should have won against Dallas. It didn't happen, right? We try again. We get an offside Micah Parsons. Kick the field goal. Kick it. Send it to OT. Let the chips fall where they may. Put the defense. Make Aaron Glenn earn his paycheck. But alas, that time is over. Now it's time for 2024. The excitement for this team is ridiculous. Everybody expect us to be, I will say this, and I'll wrap the video up here because I know it's long. I would much rather be where we are now than be the Super Bowl winner that falls off. If you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they're like the only ones that haven't really done it. The Patriots during their dynasty. But most of the time, a team wins a Super Bowl, falls off a cliff. The Rams fell off a cliff. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers off of a cliff. They limped their way to the playoffs. Well, no, that's when Stafford and them won. So, but now they're off a cliff, right? Well, not really, because you know what I'm trying to say. They're kind of like the moderate exception. But most of the time, the Super Bowl winners don't even make the postseason, let alone get back there. So if the Lions can start, I truly believe that this is the start of what can be a dynasty. It's too early to talk about dynasty. You got to win at least 2 before you start talking dynasty. But building a competitive team for years to come, I believe the Detroit Lions are doing just that. So let me know your thoughts, man. What do you think about the Detroit Lions? Do you think they set another first and just overcome all odds, man? Because we're still up against it. We really are, man. And like the fellas say, man, we haven't done anything. So anyway, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I almost forgot to say this, man. We are 35 people away from Oh my God, 21,000. You guys don't understand. I have been stuck in 20K. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Only 2% of all YouTube creators have over 10,000 subscribers. So appreciate you. I am privileged to have that. But I have been stuck at in the 20s since free agency. You're talking to, we are pushing 6 months. Well, 4, where we at? April, May, June, July. So 4. That's a long time. That's a long time for a creator. So if you are not new to the channel, you've been watching for a while, get on board with us, man. Hit that subscribe button. Help us see 21K. Anyway, you know what? These videos are always long when I'm just coming off the heart, man, and stuff like that. These are longer videos. So appreciate you guys. Take care of yourself and each other. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. And as always, go Lions. I cannot believe football is here.